Do I really need to make a good hook for this video? This is a $10 mod that allows you to play all of your games off an SD card. I think this mod speaks for itself. So let me show you how to do it right here, right now. Today we have my friend Mikey's really dirty GameCube, but we're gonna mod it, we're gonna do PicoBoot, it's gonna be awesome, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it. I had him buy from a listing on AliExpress that came with pretty much everything you need. I think he bought the slight wrong variation because there's like 10 variations on this listing. I believe it comes pre-flashed with the software, but it's really simple to flash it. You press and hold this button and then you plug it in to the computer, USB-C on this one. There's other PicoBoards that have micro USB. Then you just download the PicoBoot firmware from GitHub. I'll have that link down below. Then you just drag and drop that onto the Pico, and it'll automatically eject itself once it's fully installed. I suck with software stuff, and that was super easy. You're also gonna need one of these with a micro SD card of your choice. Mikey went with 128 gigabytes. To set up the SD card, you're gonna need to plug it into a computer. You'll need to download the Swiss software, and again, I'll have all the written stuff down below because the software stuff does tend to change from time to time. You'll have to download this file here. You'll have to unzip it and find this file here, rename it to ipl.dol, and then you can drop that onto the root of the SD card. Then while you're doing this mod, you can transfer over all of your game files to the SD card, and it should all be transferred by the time you're done with this mod. Sounds good? Great. I'm not going to go over how to back up your games or anything like that in this one. There are other tutorials online for how to do that. And don't be a dirty pirate. With this particular listing, you'll get a free USB-C cable. I'm keeping this, Mikey. What's nice about this listing in particular is it comes with all of the things you will need. Literally everything, as long as you buy the right listing. This comes with the exact number of wires we need, all color-coded, but the best part is it comes with new thermal pads if you tear yours off or if you just want to replace them. All right, let's wipe this down real quick. You filthy, filthy boy, Mikey. Okay, I don't want to spend an hour cleaning this, but that's better. The handle's still gross. Let me do that real quick. Mikey is one of my closest friends that I've known since like kindergarten, so I'm allowed to make fun of him. You are not. You've been warned. But Mikey apparently has never dusted once in his life. Okay, I finally get to use this thing. This is the LTT screwdriver. I just made a short on this. By the time you're seeing this video, it's probably been about a month. But we've got 4 game bit screws in here. It's the larger game bit one. If you don't have an iFixit kit, I highly recommend it. You don't need the LTT screwdriver, but this is a really nice screwdriver. And for bigger screws like these, oh boy, I've been waiting to use this one. So we just need to take care of these 4 guys right there. You can flip this over and all those screws should just fall out. So you can just lift up once you flip that back over, and we don't need this top half at all. Well, we'll need it again when we put it back together, but you know what I mean. Now, surprisingly, this isn't very dirty on the inside. I don't know how with how dusty the top was, but what we can do here is pop these tabs back. Be very careful because this is just plastic holding this piece in, and then we can lift up this ribbon cable here. Set that off to the side. We don't need it right now. What we have to do here is pretty much just take out all of the screws along the edges. I'm gonna start by taking care of these 4 guys right here on the memory cards. I believe all of these are Phillips heads, so you shouldn't have to worry about it. And from here, we pretty much just need to get all 5 of these on this side. Flipping it around, there's 2 holding this fan down and 3 more underneath the fan. You can actually take this back off too. And we've also got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws back here. We've got screws everywhere. I'm just gonna burn right through these screws. You do not need to take this tiny one out here though. Dang. Be careful with the powder coating. My black shaft is not gonna be black for much longer. You don't need to unscrew this black screw, but you do need to unplug this. Okay, now we should be able to just lift this entire thing up. Cool. Make sure you don't get caught on that wire. And this is the entirety of the disc thing, which, fun fact, if you didn't know, you don't have to rip the discs out of this thing. This thing right here is a button. It'll pop it out when you press it. Apparently people didn't know that. I knew that when I was 5 when I was playing this console. Sorry for the aggression there, but we still have 6 more screws to take care of right here. Then we can get to soldering. Even though these are smaller screws, we can still use the same bit on these 6 screws here. And these do seem to have little tiny washers on them, so don't lose that. So 20 minutes and 28 screws later, we're finally to where we need to be. Well, once we remove the heatsink here. I mean, obviously you want to be careful so you don't, rip anything off. These actually came off pretty nice. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up these chips real quick. All right, now it's time to solder. Again, I'll have the written tutorials for both the software and this side of things linked in the description. Also, this is DOL001, not the 101. It is slightly different for the DOL 101, which is the version without this. It'll be good to look and listen at what I'm doing, but it's still going to be slightly different for you 101 users. And I'm actually going to get out the wires right now. We'll probably do the thermal pads last. And since all of our wires are color coordinated, I'm going to go ahead and do the soldering onto the Pico first. I recommend orienting the Pico like this. We've got our gaggle of wires here. On the diagram, it shows a red, a black, an orange, a pink, and a blue. We do not have these colors here. We'll keep red and black the same. Orange will be yellow, green will be blue, and purple will be pink. Hopefully that makes any sort of sense to you at all. We're gonna start with the ground here, which is the black one. What I like to do is stick the wire through the hole that we're gonna solder to, and then bend it over like that. Stick it through the hole and bend it over. Then we can set it down, get out the soldering iron, add the solder to ground, push the solder into the iron, and lift up. That's plenty of solder. Now that's not going anywhere. Now I'm gonna do that for the rest of them. I'm gonna put the red wire on the 3v3 right here. Everything should be labeled on the actual Pico, and it's actually easier to see on the backside. So I'm gonna stick it in there and just fold it over. Then we can stick it back down, do the same thing, solder it down. Now flipping it over to the other side, we're gonna take care of the yellow one. This one's a little bit trickier because we have to bridge 2 connections here. We're gonna bridge GP6 and GP7. And I'm actually going to go grab my wire stripper real quick and strip this a little bit more. So now that we have more exposed wire, again, I'm just gonna stick it through GP7. And then once we flip it over, we can still see the 6 mark there. I ended up sticking the wire through both of the holes. That way it'll be even easier to solder it down, which we'll do right now. Now we got plenty of solder on both of those pins. Then we can take our green wire, which you may have completely different wires depending on what kit you grab. I'm gonna put the green one in the GP4 slot. Once again, folding it over just like that. And that's actually number 3, be careful. A whoopsie. Just ignore the solder that's on the 3rd pin. That was an accident. And then the last one, my purple wire, aka GP5, we're gonna go ahead and solder that in just like the rest of them, sticking it through the hole and folding it over just like that. Again, ignore pin 3. There's nothing soldered there other than just a glob of solder. And as long as none of the solder is bridging onto anything else other than 6 and 7, you should be good. This is how the backside looks. It's a lot cleaner to look at. From here, we're gonna be soldering in this area over here. These are the memory card slots if you're trying to find the orientation we're in. This is Jake from the future. This is where you put the heat shrink back on. We soldered the entire one side down, and then I soldered the other side down and still didn't put this on. Put this on now. Shdoop, slide it over the top of all of them so they're all wrapped up nice and neatly. Back to the past with you. I'm gonna start with the pink wire, aka the purple wire, aka GP5. It's gonna be this guy right here. It's gonna be tough. So I'm gonna actually bend this into like a little bit of an L shape, so it's going to be easier for us to get there. And if you don't have tweezers, I highly recommend grabbing some right now. But we're just going to put a little bit of flux down here, and we're just touching that wire down there. I'll show all of the solder points once I'm done so you can get a closer up look of what it should look like. And since the red goes pretty much right next to it, we'll go with the red next. Put a little bit of flux down, and nice and stuck down. For the ground, we're gonna have to do a little more bridging. So we're actually going to bridge these 2 pins right here. So I just tacked that down real quick, and I'm gonna add a whole lot more solder to this. It's not pretty, but it's done. Next up, we'll do the green wire, aka GP4, which it's gonna go to this chip over here, and it's gonna be the third one from the left on the top. I'm gonna put some flux down there, and specifically I'm gonna go from this angle just because we don't want the wire going over the top of the GPU. And just like that, we're done. As long as it's not going anywhere and it's not bridging anything, we're good. And then yellow, we're gonna do pretty much the same thing. We're gonna put a little bit of flux over here. This is GP6 and 7. This is the second pin from the left on the bottom. This time I'm actually going to angle it the opposite way, like that, and make sure it's out of the way of all those chips. So as long as you're not a Dumbo like me, you have the shrink wrap on, you should put it in this position, because the whole reason we have it here is to protect the wires for when we clamp the disk drive back down. I also took the liberty of putting on some Kapton tape around here. You don't have to. I'm just overly cautious about this stuff. Now we're gonna quickly take care of the thermal pads. You should be able to just, oh, maybe not. This is almost like thermal paste and not thermal pads. Should be able to just peel it up, put it off to the side. It's gonna be a little messy. It's gonna be like messing with clay. You don't have to do this. If your thermal paste is fine and you're not worried about it, you can skip this step. We got new ones, so I'm gonna go ahead and install them. Don't use any sharp objects to scrape it off because you don't want to scratch the metal. I'm gonna go wash my hands real quick. We're gonna take our paper towel again, spray the crap out of it, and we can just wipe away the remaining bits. I'm using IPA and my mom's paper towel. That doesn't work as much, but it's actually pretty funny if you're a part of my immediate family. Anyways, now that we've got all of that cleaned up and ready to go, I'm gonna put the thermal pads on the chips themselves. And this is actually a little big. I think it's fine. They're all cut to somewhat size, so it's not gonna be too hard to decipher which one goes where. And then don't forget to peel the other sides. Even though this one's a little big, I'm just gonna leave it. I don't think it's gonna be a big deal. Plus it's Mikey's GameCube, it's not mine, so I don't really care. And make sure you have it in the right way that you can see the cutouts for where the chips are. So we're gonna put it down like this, and make sure all of those screw holes line up, because we're gonna screw it down right now. We're done with all the soldering, so you can put that away. Don't have to worry about it anymore. I'm just gonna go ahead and blast through all these screws. Just as a friendly reminder, you wanna put an even amount of pressure on something like this. So I'd start with opposite corners, and don't screw it down too hard because you don't wanna break the chips or any screw posts. Like I said earlier, the reason the shrink wrap is here is so when we put this down, it doesn't hurt anything. We can go ahead and firmly press that down. And I'm actually gonna start over here with these screws. And I'm gonna do this one right over here as well. Whenever I take a GameCube apart, I always forget to put those ones down, and then the fan's in the way, and yeah. Now I'm gonna even some of the pressure over on the opposite side from where we started. Nintendo, you don't need this many screws. Now we can secure our fan down. Don't forget to put the wire through the loop here and plug it in, and then put our last two screws in. We can put our back plate on. Don't forget, we still have these 4 more screws. Yay. Don't forget to put these things back on. Now we're done with the screwing in. We can plug this guy back in. And before we put the controller port fully in, I'm gonna go ahead and stick it down right here. That's what this last piece of double-sided tape is for. And I'm just gonna stick it right there. I'm gonna cover this in Kapton tape real quick. Now we can put this back in, sliding it from the bottom and putting the clips around the posts. Then we should be able to just put the top half back on. Just make sure that the PicoBoard isn't sticking out farther than the plastic there. And hopefully you didn't pinch any wires down. Flip it back over. We can put our last 4 screws in. Once everything is nice and tight, we can lift up serial port 2, and we can take our little guy here and slide it in. And just in case you forget which side you need to put it in, it tells you this side faces the outside. Put it in like that, then you can cover it back up, and we're good to go. I told Mikey to also grab one of these. This is an alternative to doing an HDMI mod. As much as I love hardware mods, and I think HDMI mods are super cool, work smarter, not harder. And this is gonna give you the same results as an HDMI mod. And this is the exact same software as the Eon. This is just a lot cheaper and less bulky too. So let's go grab Mikey, plug it in, and play some games. One specific game. Got it, got it, got it, got it, got it. Let's go. No. Okay, no, no.
Are you?
No. No! I'll give it to you. Yeah. I know you can't do it.
Dude, the first one was almost on point.
What? Oh my.
Oh no.
Yes!
The bombs missed?
Oh, you overshot. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh,
no, it scared me.
I was about to say again.
Even when I'm frozen,
you know,
can't handle it.
As you panic.
Well, yeah, because I saw he was passed out. That's the only way you score.
It comes down to this last match.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like and subscribe.
The super duper strike. That works.
No,
that's in. That's in. That's in.
No.
Oh, baby.
Oh, look,
oh they have to give you the chain jump because you're doing so bad. Oh, you actually hit one. No. Oh my gosh. If they would give me some freaking items, that would be great. No.
That was a little too much. Oh no. I saw that coming.
Why doesn't your goalie get knocked out? Ever?
If only.
See what I mean? Dude, how many stars are you gonna get? You actually hit one. If it would give me some items, then I would actually be able to contest that.
Okay. Okay.
No.
Yes.
What?
It is just a fist fight right now for the.
No. Oh.
Oh gosh, no, not like this.
No. Oh. Dude, how did that hit me? Where are you going? Where was he going? Where was my guy going? Look at this. Look at him. Look, he's headbutting in the complete wrong direction.
I don't think I've beaten you best 2 out of 3 in like 5+ years, at least.
If ever. Clearly, there's something wrong with this mod because I'd never lose in that game. Okay, for reals, this is a fantastic mod. An easy way to boot up Swiss without needing a disk drive, and you can even update it by using the USB-C port. Though I will say, I don't think it's worth upgrading from the Xenochip mod if you already have that installed. That's why I waited to do it to Mikey's GameCube, because I wasn't going to do it to mine unless my disk drive died. Plus, I like having the ability to play game discs from any region. What do you guys think? Are you going to do this mod? Have you done it already? How do you like it? Let me know in those comments down below. But that's it for me, so like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later, guys.
5-1, Jake. What happened?
I'm turning off the recording.
Oh, bye, everyone.